Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family. We chose this one. This is episode 403, Timeline from 2003 or 1357. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too, and this episode is brought to you by Armor, a global leader in managed detection and response (MDR) and compliant cloud solutions. Shout out to Armor.
Well, shout out to Armor and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. Joe, do you know how annoyed I was that it wasn't 1327 that they got sent back to? We're so close.
I have that in my notes immediately, bud.
We are so close to the number. Like, 30 years down the road.
Yeah, I have. It's like one of my first notes. I'm very frustrated as well.
Hold on. What was the average lifespan in 1357?
Like 32, maybe.
30
less.
to 33. Yeah. So people.
Okay, I was dead on.
People basically didn't. Anybody in this movie basically did not see 1327.
Yeah.
They were all, especially since they're in war. Anyway, with us tonight to talk about this Paul Walker film that we missed on the Paul Walker lap because we only did like two. The Paul Walker lap was a real early pivot lap for us where we only did a couple movies because we weren't doing this format.
We're feeling it out. Yeah, we're feeling it out.
We did a couple of them. We still got more to go. But with us tonight to, oops, we should have covered that already. We have in front of the paywall, repping Queens. I'm doing the BX though. Brian Rodriguez. Hello, Brian.
I do live in the Bronx currently, but my team resides in Queens. I was born in Queens, so
this is a cool hat.
Thank you. Happy to be here. This is a interesting one. I don't know if I have much to say, but I wanted to be a part of this one because I had watched this film on Netflix at
drugs
3 a.m. I might as well have been on, right? And I remember just thinking, wild that Paul Walker is in a movie like this. But on this watch, different thoughts. So can't wait to talk about it.
Well, we can't wait to talk about it now. This is directed by the late, great Richard Donner. A group of archaeologists get embroiled in an adventure where they must travel back in time to 14th century France to save their professor from the French battle the English at Castleguard. If they fail, they won't be able to return. So Richard Donner, director of The Goonies, the original Superman film, Lethal Weapon, Scrooged, classic films. He was one of four directors bidding to direct Jurassic Park, which obviously Steven Spielberg won, but he later would get to direct another Michael Crichton thing, because this is based on the novel Timeline by Michael Crichton, who also wrote Jurassic Park. He wrote Congo, a bunch of different stuff.
When I was telling my friends about watching this today, as I was watching, my buddy said yes. He said that this is an excellent Michael Crichton book. And the worst adaptation of any Michael Crichton book.
There's trivia about that. We will get there. Don't you worry.
He's like, yeah.
Written by Jeff McGuire, who did In the Line of Fire, which I think he was nominated for an Oscar for, maybe, and Gridiron Gang, which we might do one time, the three of us on a Super Bowl Sunday, because that is a rock football movie, right? The Gridiron Gang, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Also written by George Nolfi, who did Ocean's 12 and Bourne Ultimatum. Produced by Richard Donner himself, Jim Van Wyck, Michael Aguilar, Donner's widow, Lauren Schuler Donner, who's one of a really big X-Men producer. The woman who was married to Richard Donner basically was very instrumental in getting the X-Men movies made. Also produced by Kevin DeLanoy and Derek Hoffman. Shot by Caleb Deschanel, who is the father of Zoe and Emily, but also shot the live-action Lion King, National Treasure, Jack Reacher, and a bunch more. $80 million budget, made $44 million. Rotten Tomatoes 13%, 29 on Metacritic. The incoherently plotted addition to the time travel genre looks and sounds cheesy and has a 45% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. No crazy credits. Okay, so there's two bits of trivia about why this movie is kind of a mess. Brian, Did you research this movie at all? Because I know you sometimes research, I know you sometimes don't. Did you research any of this, Brian?
When I go on this podcast, I try not to research because you do all the research anyway. I like to be more color commentary here. Okay. So no research. I mean, the only research I did was I was watching this on Amazon on my phone to brush up on it, and it had little things that came at the bottom of it.
The X-ray.
Yeah. It was a little. I mean, I didn't realize this was a Richard Donner film. I saw that today, but I wanted to learn from you, the master, Joey.
Well, first off, the little things. Pierce Brosnan was offered
What's
the role...
What's on the front of this hoodie? This is a really nice color. Sorry to stop you.
Mine?
Yeah.
This is a Casey Musgraves Deeper Well hoodie.
It's just like a really nice green. It's a good color.
Isn't it? It's so comfortable, too.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan was offered the role of Andre Marek, who is the Gerard Butler character, but he turned that down, so we could have almost had a James Bond in this movie, but we did not. John Cena is somewhere in this movie as an extra or something.
What?
He's in the DVD extras. So this is kind of a pre-Fast and Furious movie with a Paul Walker, John Cena.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is before he's a pro wrestler even. Like, this is like, he's wrestling,
really?
obviously, but he's before he's pro. So, like, this is like early Cena.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so here's why the movie's a mess. There's two more real big bits of trivia. So
Okay.
Michael Crichton, in a very unconventional move, offered up the movie rights for free. He's like, you can do this, you can make this into a movie as long as you start right now. You have to go into production right now. They're like, cool.
Start now.
You got it. Which is, I feel like that's never a good sign, but whatever.
Why?
I mean, the rash decisions always make the best products, right?
Yeah. So instead of like getting paid for the screenplay, he had a back end deal based on the script. But then he saw the movie, hated the movie, and was like, okay, all you fuckers are done. No more movies based on my books. No more option screenplays. We're done. This is it.
He did it. You did this to yourself.
Yeah. So
Who could have seen this coming?
So, I mean, even though Jurassic Park 10 years earlier becomes like one of the biggest movies of all time, whatever. So he then dies at some point, and Steven Spielberg gets the rights to Pirate Latitudes, which is another one of his novels. That's still 15 years since it was optioned, has not been made. So, like, as far as I can tell, there's no more Michael Crichton books, no more books that have become movies. There's like this, there's Congo, there's Jurassic Park, but, you know, Andromeda Strain, I think. Sphere, maybe. I don't know if it became a movie, but, you know. Part of the reason why you might have hated it is it was supposed to release in fall 2002. So this is firmly between the first two Fast and Furious movies. We know that the first Fast and Furious movie was shot earlier and kind of held on the shelf. This is supposed to be released in fall of 2002, but Paramount hated the version that Donner turned in. It had a big prologue explaining the disappearance of the professor and an original score by Jerry Goldsmith. So they're like, you need to fix this. So he recuts it and asks Jerry Goldsmith to edit down the score for the recut version. This pushes things back to March of 2003. He then turns it in again, and Paramount's like, especially studio head Sherry Lansing is just like, this still sucks. You completely remove the prologue, which makes no sense at all. The score isn't really good here. I don't know what's going on. So like, okay, I got to recut the movie again. He then goes, hey, Jerry, can you rescore the movie? Jerry is literally dying of cancer now. He's signed on to score a Looney Tunes movie. He dies in July 2004. So instead, I don't know if you saw his name in the credits, they hire Brian Tyler, he of 7 Fast and Furious scores, to score this movie.
Okay.
And he basically just does Jerry Goldsmith's score from the first movie. Like, they're identical in length, they both released. But, like, everywhere there was music, he does music again. And so it's not like he had, like, a new vision for the movie. He just kind of, like,
It's just, like,
recreated
different music of where he put it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the final cut of the movie is like an hour 55-ish. It was originally 2:16, and mostly the prologue is gone and whatever else. But there was a different version of this movie that like should have been out, quote unquote, should have been out.
Well, we get a little montage of the prologue, so that's probably just what they did.
You're talking about like the cutting back and forth between like the American Southwest and Castle Guard?
Yeah, I'm sure that was the prologue, right? Like just
probably
longer version, which I'm glad they just cut because it did its job in the like 2-second montage. It's rare that a movie opens like that. That's why I noticed it.
That's the trivia. Like this movie was fiddled with by Paramount. It lost a bunch of money. The composer died. They hired Brian Tyler. The director then died.
It was
at
rushed.
some point.
Michael Crichton said, "Do this immediately." Yeah.
Wait, what happened, guys? Why did it suck?
But we got a shaggy-haired Paul Walker. We got a very young
great.
Gerard Butler, who also looks great in this movie. And then we've got Frances O'Connor, who kind of looks like Jordana Brewster, kind of looks like Jennifer Love Hewitt, and kind of looks like Marguerite Moreau from like Wet Hot American Summer. She's just like generic kind of cute brunette lady who doesn't fall in love with Paul until they go back in time. Brian, had you ever seen this before? You said you saw maybe on
drugs.
No. I wasn't on drugs. I might as well have been, I said. But like it's just like
so this was essentially a first watch.
This was a first watch where I paid attention. It's definitely not a first watch. I probably watched this like twice in the background, or maybe even 3 times in like check out this movie on Netflix way when people would come over, right? This was definitely a pandemic watch, like a non paying attention pandemic watch. a sort of laughing at what's going on here, Pandemic Watch, because the whole idea to me was that Brian O'Connor was somehow in the Middle Ages, right? And when you view it in that lens, which I'm sure you guys did, this is a hilarious movie, right? But
Yeah, kind of is. Yeah.
this is the first time I watched it like, oh, this is the story. Okay.
It looks like he took every article of costuming from this set and just used it in Too Fast. Right? Like, I mean, like, I know that that's, like, probably just, like, his general style from, like, all the pictures we see of him then, but it's just, like, so early 2000s, like, just get up. Like, he's so dressed like
Until he's in the Middle Ages, but yeah,
until he's in the Middle Ages.
but like once he's in medieval times, like it just he's the most out of place. And I'm not saying that like clearly he's like it's not his fault, right? They're all coming from a different time period, so they're all out of place. But he feels the most out of place in this era. Like at least all of them are like these smart professorly people, or even like the ex-Marines or whatever have a sort of way about them. He's just like a dude living his life. He's like, history fucking sucks. My dad bored me with it, but there's hot chicks in this field, so I'm gonna stick
Yeah.
around. Like, and I get it. Look, this I never realized until this watch that he was looking for his dad. You know what I mean? Like, it was just something I just wasn't.
Well, I mean, the movie tells you that, and then also gives you another old guy in every scene that also looks like his dad, right? Like every time they're like, "We need to go find his dad." I was like, "I thought that guy was just his dad." Like, don't they have the dad? And they're like, "No, we need to go find." There's like just another old guy beside them at any moment.
And when they're back, like in the medieval era or whatever, right? I see his motivation now, but when I didn't know, again, I'm gonna say it's like we got Brian O'Connor in Los Angeles, we got him in Miami, we get him in a medieval fortress, right? Like
Yeah.
that's sort of how I saw it, and it's a fun way to watch the movie.
I have two real issues with this. I mean, I have a lot of issues with this movie, but
There's a
was-
lot of issues.
was it
I need
just
to talk
two?
to you guys about a bunch of things.
the
Yeah.
two biggest issues I have with this, number one, if you're gonna put Paul Walker back in time, like let him be native, like let him like talk like he's like, because I saw so many Keanu movies where they're like, oh, Keanu can play Shakespeare, Keanu can do like
That's true. I got
dangerous
so much.
liaisons, and it's just like I want
Yeah.
Paul to like struggle and stink at it, and like he's just like a dude from 2003 that goes back to 1357. It's just like, well, okay. My other issue, if you're trying to save one dude,
Okay.
don't send 7 idiots to get one guy back when like the technology to come back doesn't really work.
Scrambles your veins.
Mm-hmm. Like I think a better version of this movie is they send one guy to go get him, and then he
One
doesn't come
mercenary.
back, and then
Yeah.
like they send 2 or 3 more. To send 7, 2 off the jump get killed.
Immediately.
One of them comes back to the present day and destroys basically the only way for them to get back. It feels like the most insane. Like Bob and I just did a book for Lotto Pod where they lose a girl on a chartered, like sightseeing trip or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, we don't know who's missing. If any of you want to go find her, you can go find her." Just like that seems like a bad idea. Like, why are you sending more people out to get lost to bring one person back? You're gonna
Yeah.
all of a sudden have 3 people miss. So like they send 7 out to bring 1 back, and only like 3 of them come back. Like it's the worst return on investment I've ever seen.
So you don't like the film Saving Private Ryan then?
That's real.
Same exact plot. Well, no, it's not a real story.
It's not the same exact plot, Brian.
It is same exact plot.
I will say the thing about Saving Private Ryan, which we have not done yet, we will maybe one day in the Oops 2 lap cover for Vin Diesel. By design, the stakes of that movie are so low. It's just like this one family has suffered unimaginable losses. We need to get the one guy back. It doesn't matter what happens. Like,
Yes, but they're also fighting World War II. The stakes aren't that low.
no. I'm saying like the specific mission within.
Okay.
It's like just this one guy, a private, has to go home
Right.
so that his mom doesn't lose all of her sons.
But this is similar, right? Like amongst a great war, a group of people have to save one dude.
Yeah, I could see it. It's the exact same movie. That's what I was thinking when I was watching it, Brian.
I was like, wow, this is Paul Walker Saving Private Ryan. Joe, do you like this movie?
I don't think I could pay attention to the plot straightforwardly enough to
This is
determine that.
very hard movie to pay attention to. Like that's undeniable, right? It's just very hard to.
It's chaotic. It jumps back and forth between time very abruptly. Like it's weird. No, I did not like this movie at all. But I mean, it's weird.
I think that the jumping back and forward in time, like the issue is they're trying to set up like conflict in both times. Like they need to find the guy.
Fine. I get it.
And they need to save the day. But it's just like, I don't know which of these I'm supposed to care about more. Also, I like nobody in present day. So like I have no emotional stake there at all. And then the one guy's a real asshole and like he gets his comeuppance at the end, but it's just like, I don't want to be in present day. Like we're back in time. Like let's just stay there and like maybe explore some things.
Because it's kind of actually fun, you're right, to be with like the archaeologist being like, oh, we're back at the site that we were currently just digging, and have them experience wonderment finding a tunnel or a door or something that they think is there or no.
You ever play like in the 90s that game Myst?
I never played it, but I know.
That's
it's a walking simulator, yeah.
That's exactly what you described. That's the movie you want to see. Like, let's walk around and discover things. That's fun to you?
No, I said the idea of watching these.
Other people doing.
If we start with the archaeologist digging a site from the past and then watching the archaeologist go back to that site to see it or what it looked like live, that's interesting to me.
You need the archaeologist's son who reluctantly, his dad's Scottish. He's not because he didn't grow up with him. You need him because he's just the pivotal character. I wouldn't have cared unless Paul Walker was in this movie. I wouldn't be on this show if that wasn't the case. So
that's true. Yeah.
I get it. Like that, honestly, that historical perspective was kind of interesting. I thought Gerard Butler was really badass in this movie.
Yeah, he was. He was really cool.
Every watch I have a hard time following. Once, especially, they're in the medieval world, it's a lot of like action and battle scenes, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah. Which I just turned my brain off for those. Like I can't do it. Always in every action movie.
Even in these films that you guys talk about and love here, right?
You watch what you say.
No, but my least favorite things are like the serious action sequence. Like, look, car jumping between buildings, cool, but that's like easy for my brain to digest. But like punch, kick, car here, like I do tune that out, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you.
But that's still modern, like technology, right? Like this is medieval reenactors doing sword play, and I'm sorry, I know that's cool, especially cool back then, but like I've watched The Matrix, you know what I mean, where people bend around bullets and stuff like that. Like seeing long sequences of sword play and horses running around, it doesn't do it for me. At least this film didn't do it for me as much as it should. I'm sure like there's other movies or directors who could do it a little. Richard Donner's great, but like I tuned out every action sequence. I forgot who was who at certain points, right?
Oh, for sure. I want to talk about how we get to time travel and how the time travel works.
Do you know?
No. I mean, I know from the movie.
It's not time travel. It's very specifically a wormhole.
Yes, exactly. But
it functions exactly as time travel.
These guys are trying to make a portal to teleport objects through space. So they're like, yeah, we tried to send a thing to New York, like from one of these giant mirrored circular fan things, I guess. And we kept sending it and it kept getting stuck, but it would come back. And like we sent a camera to like see where it was. And we figured out that it sends it, you're right, Joey, through a wormhole directly to 1357 France. Okay, but now that they figured this out, the time travel works that they get a limited number of time and they have to have like this token, right? That they like wear around their neck. That's like a timer and the ejectocito cuz button to get them back home. But what are the fucking rules after that? Because it feels like they changed them like 50 times. It was like, oh, like you all need your token so you can get back. And then it's like, well, you only need a token if you're like near someone and then it brings them back. Well, does anybody have a better explanation for me and can tell me how you do this?
The movie sort of sets it up as you were describing, and then I think maybe smartly, maybe frustratingly blows up the way to come back and just like, well, everything that you need to know about like how to come back doesn't work anymore. Like we got to come up with a new thing on the fly. And the movie's like, whatever you're worried about, don't worry about because it doesn't work anymore. And it's like, okay, that's annoying.
Fine.
But like,
that's really annoying.
yeah. But yes, there's like the little thing around the neck that says you have to push it.
But they were like, don't lose these. This is your way back. And they're like, well, we only need one of them. And then everybody's like, whoops, I threw mine away, like immediately.
But also
like,
when they give the thing out, they're like, don't push it. It's like, wait, hold on, wait, what? They're like, he scolds him. He's just like, don't push it either too soon or like at the wrong time or like before or blah 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 blah. It's like, well then why? What?
I have a problem with the circular plot of this movie that like a guy gets stuck there, so they just send a bunch of people to go rescue him. Then they're like, oh shit, our friend gets stuck there. When they could just send another group of people to go get the friend if they really wanted to, even though he wanted to stay. You know what I mean? Like, you're never really going to lose someone unless they like get murdered when they get there. So you're just like, go and hide and we'll come find you.
Right.
So there's no actual like drama.
No, until the machine explodes. I guess like so while watching this movie, after the two people get immediately killed, and then like a couple minutes later or whatever, the translator, the quote unquote translator, the French guy, translates the guy saying "I am a spy," and then they kill him, right? And so like 3 people down. I'm like, could I treat this movie like a horror movie, like a slasher, where like they're trying to survive, but then the movie from then on like basically doesn't like kill any more people. It just
unless they're bad guys,
unless they're bad guys or like in battle, like in war. But it's not like these like surprise kills. Where it's like, oh, who knows who's going to survive? Because you're right. Like I think they have to send a bunch of people for the only reason to like drum up excitement or something, and like have things go wrong and have that one guy come back. Because if you send 3 and then one dies or one gets sent back or whatever, then all of a sudden, but like 7 just seems like so many. But I think that it's only to make it seem like there's things that could go wrong and that things that do, and then also you have the guy come back with a grenade and blow up the thing.
I think that you fix this movie, Joey, exactly as you said, that you just make this, and as Brian said, that we just send just Gerard Butler back alone, and eventually, and it's one token gets you back, and he swaps for the dad, right? Or so, like maybe he carried another one with him, he loses one there, the dad comes back, he goes and becomes the earless gravestone, right?
Well, I also thought like so there's a lot of revelations, like even though it is a wormhole, and I was like, teasing before when I was just like, it's not time travel because it's a wormhole, but like it's just time travel. There's so many things that happen in this movie that are basically the time travel thing of like, oh, I was the person I was talking about. That thing that we found was actually the thing that we lost or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It happens twice where Gerard Butler meets this girl and like falls in love immediately. And I'm like, oh, she's going to come back to modern day, which I think we covered like on a podcast. I don't remember what movie we did.
You didn't. Come on. As soon as they show you Gerard Butler looking at the gravestone being like, who's this guy doing something that's totally not appropriate for the era with a girl? Wow. What a crazy thing.
I wasn't thinking about the movie that hard at that time.
As soon as I was like, oh, Gerard Butler, like as soon as they go back, I'm like, Gerard Butler's going to stay there and be this guy.
I thought she was going to come back with him to modern day, which I think happened in a movie we did not that long ago, but I don't remember which movie it was. But anyway, I
thought so too.
It does the other time travel thing where it's just like, oh no, he's going to stay. Like their love is eternal, but also he realizes, oh, I'm the guy who has the ear, the blah, 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 blah. Because this is also the girl who was supposed to get hanged, and they change the course of history, but also it's fine. But also, like they always, like that's what is weird about time travel movies, and also especially bad time travel movies, is like, if they changed history when they went back in what we saw, history has always been changed like that. So, like, they would not have known that she would have been hanged. They would have known that she
was rescued,
had 3 kids with their names or whatever, right? Like,
yes,
that doesn't add up.
Yeah, that's another plot hole.
It's hard
Brian,
to make
defend the
sense
movie.
of it. No, I'm not going to, but it's hard to make sense of any of it, right? Like, are there separate timelines? Like, we don't know, right? Like, you kill someone, theoretically, there, and you can wipe out a million people
bloodlines
by killing out one person, right? Yeah, exactly.
You can.
So it depends on who you kill. Like, and it also could be a dude who didn't have any kids, so it wouldn't matter, right? But like, you just don't know. It's so risky. This is one of those films that I couldn't tell you really what happens in the middle of it, right? Like, I know they get there, I know how it ends, There's some
The
fighting.
middle is just like they get captured and they have to get out of them getting captured to go uncapture the dad.
For such a big plot and such a big movie, the middle is so small, if that makes sense, right? It's just like an escape room and or
The other things that you guys keep saying about this is like we touched on it. Okay, this movie was supposed to be 2 hours and 11 minutes. No, this movie should have been an hour and 20 minutes. And that's why they needed to put 7 people back into France to like make it 2 hours when you didn't need to do that. It just feels weird.
Paul Walker, to me, makes the film because he's just living his fucking life. Sorry,
Just
living his freaking life. I forgot about the paywall thing.
I do want to talk about them literally going back in time or going through the wormhole where the screen turns blue and they just shout at the sky. Because I think for a movie that, like, whenever a movie's like low rated or not good or whatever, I'm always like, all of it's going to stink. But like, I think for the most part, the battle at the end looks pretty good.
looks pretty cool.
Sure,
Them going
yeah.
through the wormhole does not. And I was just like,
No.
this is kind of corny. Like, I don't know how, if that's just like, if they're trying to recreate the way that Michael Crichton described it in the novel, I don't know, but it is real goofy. And I was just like, oh boy, here we go. Okay.
I mean, I liked seeing Paul Walker look like he was in front of a fan because he's like a very handsome man and with his hair blowing, it's nice. But other than that, I was like, this is one way to do this.
He's shaggier hair than we've ever seen him as. Like, it's a little bit longer. It's like,
Than Too
because he
Fast.
gets a cut between 1 and 2. Do you think his hair is longer in 1 or 2? I think it's a little bit longer in 1, probably.
No, I think it's a little longer in 2.
But like, this is in between, and so like, it's like he would be like a knight in the Middle Ages almost. Like, it's if he grows in a little, you know what I mean? Like, it looks.
Yeah, he's a surf bro.
But
Yeah.
instead he's just a dude.
I wish there was a little bit more Brian O'Connor dialogue in here, right? I just wish a little bit more. So some of it is he doesn't have anyone. He doesn't have a Roman to go back and forth with, right? He has
That
really smart people to go back and forth with instead of just like his bros, you know. He's the most fish out of water.
I wish, yeah, you're right. If this would have been bro-tastic with him and Gerard Butler, I think it might have played better too, because we don't even get like a forget about it or something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly, right?
Like, that's what he needs, right? Like, it feels like they've like restrained Paul Walker into like academic world, and it's just, and then it like lames him up, and you're like, this is no.
Well, the
fun.
most exciting, I think, the most excited or exciting he is in the movie is before he goes back when he's talking to his dad about like how he loves the girl, but he's like, you're never gonna. He's like, I love archaeology though. He's like, if it's between archaeology and a girl, you're not gonna pick archaeology. I can tell you that much right now. And then she's just like, no, your dad is the boss. I am not interested. And then it's just like, well, okay. But I feel like
No, he said that she's not going to pick you over
well,
archaeology.
also
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, which
But
is
like,
hilarious to me. He's like, "You're not smart enough, son."
Yeah, that's a babe that does work.
I was a little worried though, or maybe not worried, but I was like, I thought for a second they might be, because like we open on like a group of people watching them kind of do things, and I'm like, are they like reenactors? Like I was thinking like
LARPing.
Yeah, like
It's all LARPing.
middle-aged or not middle-aged, Middle Ages reenactors or whatever. They're just archaeologists, but I'm like, at least they have like some skills, but also like they don't apply those skills. And also like the father-son archaeology thing really tries to evoke maybe Indiana Jones, but they also don't do that at all either.
No. Yeah, it's weird. I could see why Gerard Butler wants to stay there, though. He just, like, it's, like, as soon as I see them, like, capture him, he's like, I'm excited to LARP with my friends. You know what I mean? Like, that's all he wanted to do.
They're already he's already like 30. I don't know how they had 3 kids. Like that guy, like they're dying of something like a hangnail immediately.
He knows like not to drink like contaminated water. You know what I mean? Like he'll survive. I get that you're gonna die. of
I
these
don't
things,
think. And also, on the flip, Joey and Brian, like, if he shows up there, his wife is dead immediately from, like, whatever diseases she's not protected against that he brings back with him. You know? Like, smallpox instantly or something, right? Like,
Was there stuff about this movie that you did like?
Look, I didn't hate this movie. Like I said, it's a nice background piece to laugh at.
yeah.
It's not that it's funny, but it's just like interesting and weird. And this is definitely a forgotten Paul Walker film, which I think is really cool.
For sure.
And like a forgotten Gerard Butler film. The cast is pretty like it's sort of like a B movie. I know they didn't had like an A movie budget, and it's a pretty good B movie cast, I'd say. The like ex-Marine slash scientist dude.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
That guy's in a bunch of stuff.
You're talking about Neil McDonough
Yeah, I think so.
with his big dumb baby head, as a quote from Justified talking about him. He's in a bunch of TV stuff. I think I
Yeah,
mostly know
right,
him
like
from TV
NCIS
stuff.
or something. I remember.
He also gets killed. Like he's the one who's like having to walk hand tied to the back of the, like, I think one of the most interesting things about the movie, which it should have done more in, is when that guy gets killed because he's like along the back of the thing, like with his hands tied, and the guy kills him, and the guy's like, oh yeah, I used to be an employee, I get back here, like what, like I'm just like I'm now king of the land or whatever. But like the idea that they've been doing this for a while, that they have other people there, is a really cool idea that again they sort of don't really explore.
That, and the whole idea that like the evil corporation doesn't tell them, and that it scrambles your veins, and the guy's like, I can't go back because it scrambles my veins, and that's not a problem for them. They're just like, oh, it only happens if you do it a whole bunch of times. So it's just like the easiest cop out ever. Like there's not like oh, if we go back now, our veins are scrambled, like do we want to risk it, blah 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 blah. They've already established like it's fine, they're safe.
Yeah, they describe it like a copy of a copy, right? Like the more you copy, the more it degrades, but like the first copy, it still looks pretty good.
Yeah, so that's what. So I'm like, you have interesting ideas and thoughts here, which I'm sure are probably pretty awesome in the book, because my buddy said that the book was great and he loves it. But then in the movie, it's just like all seems to fall flat for me.
Okay, so we brought up who did you just mention? What's his name again?
Oh, Neil McDonough?
Neil McDonough, yeah. I wrote down what's his name? He's in like a lot of not just Harry Potter films. He's like the main corporate guy. He's in a bunch of stuff. He's in David Thewlis is his name?
Yeah, David Thewlis. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, he's a really good actor, so like love to see him in this. Michael Sheen is in this movie, which is insane. Twilight connection.
Rachel recognized that one, yeah.
I mean, he's like a medieval guy, right? He's like one of the medieval, like a prince. I forget what he is.
I mean, them choosing to use English for some people and French for the others, and them being able to communicate with them.
Well, actually, there was a thing in the IMDb trivia about that, which I did not realize was going to be such a big part about like how they solve language. Let me look that up. But like, it is also going to be like, oh no, I'm not English, I'm Scottish. Like, okay, you're like, I still hate you, but I don't hate you as much as
the English. Yeah.
So timeline trivia.
Whoa, one more actor I want to talk about. Ethan Embry.
Hold on one second. The problem of language is ignored in the movie, having a French-speaking character. In the novel, it's stated that in reality, people in 1357 did not speak modern English or French, but Occitane, a language in which Andre Marek is fluent, according to the book. So the Gerard Butler character in the book is fluent in this language that is not spoken anymore, spoken back then. Also, so the
like
novel
Latin.
describes some high-tech translator devices the characters put in their ears, which also is absent in the movie.
I was gonna say that, like, just anyone who knows languages, like, you cannot go back in time. It's crazy because, like, even if you went back to Shakespearean time, it would be very hard to understand people. I don't think we realize, like, how much language changes. Like, it could be read the same,
Oh, yeah.
but that part was impossible. But the book makes sense of it, right? Like, this guy's a professor. This guy's an expert, Gerard Butler. Like, he's one of the only people who knows that language. That's fun. That's something they should have explored here. They're like, nope, that's okay.
Yes, that's all of these things. That's what I'm saying.
That's what's weird about the movie, is that it feels like it's not short, but they also like don't explore any of it. Like, I don't know what.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know what they actually do explore.
Medieval sword fighting.
I guess so.
And French women.
A little more of that I could use.
Yeah, that too. This movie isn't even fucking sexy.
Very, very, very early on, when Paul Walker brings his wannabe girlfriend beers, he brings her Heineken, and I'm just like, you're so close. You're so close,
Yes.
but yet
Yeah.
so far.
Ethan Embry in the film.
Yep.
Who's that? Which one's that?
He's the star of Can't Hardly Wait, which is a film I talked about on High School Slumber Party. He has the really bad, like, goatee, where he doesn't want to go at the beginning, and he doesn't go.
So he stays in present day.
Yeah.
Like, all those people in present day, I don't give a shit about.
Yeah, we should have had one good character in present day, like somebody that like hangs back and is like, we have to right the wrongs.
Well, he's kind of
like-
being that, but, like, nobody cares.
No? Nobody cares. That's what I'm saying. Like, you need like a strong character to be like, we needed a woman back there to be like, no, we're going to fix this. And like, you guys are going to be held accountable. And like, what could we actually use this for good about? And like, we get none of those as well.
This is one's hard to talk about because what are we going to talk about?
Well, the issue, like, this is the thing where it's like, this is the worst kind of movie to talk about in the podcast. I had no idea when I picked it, but like, it's not good or bad. It's just boring. Like, there's nothing to talk. There's nothing to latch on.
And Paul Walker's not even like the star of it, really, because it's like so perfectly. He was to me too, but I'm saying like it's also so because of Joey's 7-person problem that we have like each divergent storyline. And they all kind of get like equal screen time, so there's not even like really like someone we're following. It's just like we're following this crew that's split up.
Are they that different of stories either? Right?
No,
like it spends time with a lot of similar stories. Oh my God, we're stuck in medieval times. Let's find the professor.
Oh my God, we're captured. We need to go get uncaptured so we can uncapture the And you're like, okay, cool.
But I feel like you had to cover this movie because it's just so different than so many Paul Walker films. Not that he's different, to be clear.
I wish he was different though. It's like it would have been way more interesting to me if they're like, no, we want you to stretch. We want you to like.
Was that possible? I mean, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but like.
He does become a much better actor by the end of the franchise. By the time he passes away, he's a much better, more confident actor than he is in the first movie. But also, he always kind of just plays a cop.
But even before this, like we've seen him take like more risky acting choices. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like he was stifled by the production of this as well.
Well, I think like so like when Mike and I would do like end of podcast, I think we definitely did this with Zack Attack because it was the one episode that Joe and I ever recorded that he forgot we were recording and he's just like, I'm drunk. We're like, me and Montez were just like, just get on here. It's gonna be fine.
Yes, I remember.
It was very fun. Where at the end of the podcast we would do like awards. The most interesting thing to me was the archetype one, where we did that for like Cage for Keanu, where just like rom-com Cage versus action Cage. It's like Keanu is like, cop versus like blank slate versus like stoner or whatever. And for Paul, it's just always kind of like, he's just Brian. Like, he's done other stuff, but like he's
like surfer bro that became a cop.
Brian.
Yeah.
Pleasantville, he's a little bit different, but he's also like the cool jock who like is also just like handsome, right?
Yes, yeah.
Tanny and the Teenage T-Rex, he's still kind of like the cool guy, whatever. Varsity Blues, he's a cool guy. And then there's stuff like Running Scared and Joyride where he's like scared cool guy, where it's kind of a horror movie, but like he's just the same thing over and over again. Or Noel, he's Christmas cool guy or whatever. He's literally a cop in that movie, right? So like,
yeah.
I want there to be a movie where he like got to spread his wings a little bit, and I don't know. We still got a bunch more. Maybe it's Meet the Deedles.
I think it would have been cool if Paul Walker would have been back in middle-aged times. We would have let him have the accent that you wanted. And a girl that goes, like, the archaeology girl goes back, sees Paul Walker, and is like, I'm staying too. This is my dreamboat hottie in medieval times. And then there's no archaeology done in that place ever again. Because the old guy dies. Yeah, the old guy dies. The Gerard Butler stays with his girlfriend. She meets Paul Walker and stays. And then the site just goes unexcavated for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Also a cool premise, right? But I mean, I don't know. I didn't write the book. I bet the book's good. Whatever.
Could the Fast and Furious family go back to the Middle Ages?
Oh, that's a great question, Brian.
Do you think you'll see it? How will they fare?
Because their greatest weapon is a vehicle.
Yeah, but there's vehicles back then too.
Was there?
Well, they're in that cart, like the horse and buggy or whatever.
Can you imagine Dom Toretto driving a horse and buggy?
Drifting in it?
Yeah.
I remember that there was like these talks and like big rumors that he would be in this like Hannibal movie playing like the Carthaginian general. That was like a huge rumor back then. And I always like, even at the time, I'm like, Dom Toretto fighting Romans?
Dom's fought Romans in a lot of different Fast and Furious movies.
Good point. Roman as a Roman.
Literally Romans in the last one. They were fighting through Rome.
Also that Romans. Yeah. Roman. I was made for this, bruh.
I don't think they survive. They don't have the technology. I think that Dom survives if he becomes like a blacksmith, which I think is very likely, but I don't think they survive as the family of Fast and Furious pulling heists in medieval times.
I don't know. I couldn't find it, but like when I was doing some early research for this, there was like an interview with him where like he sort of admitted that he was like out of place in this movie.
He felt out of place, or his character was out of place?
No, he felt out of place. Like he felt like he was miscast.
Interesting. Okay.
And I can't find it, so maybe don't quote me. He just felt like it was the role was too dramatic, and he wasn't like it was written dramatically, and he didn't. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing. Like he sort of knew he didn't land it right.
Did he really not land it in this script?
No, but apparently in the script it's supposed to be like more of a dramatic character. And I could see that, right? Like what makes it
Yeah,
lighthearted is sort of him. If it was just
yeah.
like a guy who's trying to reconnect with his father, like that's not necessarily what I was getting in the role, right? Like it wasn't like, oh, we hardly know each other and now I get this opportunity to be with him, even though it's sort of for a girl and I
Yeah, that's what I
lost
was saying.
it.
It more feels like he's trying to like go back to hang out with the girl, right? Like his dad, like if you don't know your dad and you're like not connected with them and you're like, okay, I have to go save him, but you're like, but I can hang out with this hottie, like, yeah, it's like 50 first dates all at once right here.
Yeah, I can prove that I'm into history. I'll go back in history with her. Like that's more his
Yeah.
motivation.
We've been doing this all lap long. What is the biggest oops of the movie? My biggest oops is sending 7 guys back instead of 1 or instead of 2, right? Like that's a pretty big mistake. But like Brian, what is the biggest mistake a character, not like a goof in the movie, but like what's the biggest mistake a character in the movie makes, either in present day or in back in time, that you're like, ooh, that oops.
Isn't it obvious? Like the one Marine who's not supposed to bring a weapon into medieval times has a grenade and somehow sends it back and blows up the time machine. That's a major oops.
That's a major, major oops.
What do you think that guy who's shooting arrows? He shoots a guy with 2 arrows. He shoots he lets the third one go. Between the time it hits him or whatever, the guy disappears. We see the guy like look at where the guy was. He's just gone. Does that guy go crazy? Does he turn to God? Like, what does a guy in 1357 do when somebody's shooting arrows that just disappears?
I've actually talked about similar things with people, and I don't think that that's that big of a deal to him because they live in such a dogmatic world, right? Where like they believe that God can do all these things and smite them at any moment. And, people will come from a different country through passing through their town and bring things they've never seen before and they'll never see it again, right? So people think they would be like freaked out by stuff, but I think it's just like, oh my God, God took this man.
I think I'm 100% with you, Brian. I think it's a lot more of that. And like, also, wouldn't you have a mild fear that like you can't run around telling people you saw somebody disappear because they're going to think you're crazy and lynch you. You know what I mean? Like witch hunt you, something like that. So like the only person you could like maybe tell your friend that was standing next to you, be like, did that guy just fucking disappear? And they're like, put your head down and like, shut up. And like you come back and you tell your wife, like, I think I saw a guy disappear. She's like, you're crazy. It was just battle. Like, don't worry about it. And like, that's it. Like, I think that it's actually like a lot less serious than it seems.
Okay. Joe, what's your big oops of the movie?
I was going to say when they speak English in front of anyone and they're like, oh shit, you're English, and they try to kill them immediately. Like, don't you think that they would have realized that they can't do that?
Oh, no,
like,
I'm not English. I'm French. Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Do either of you have anything else to say about the movie?
Yeah, I have four more pages, but Joe, you go first.
It was cool seeing Paul Walker on a motorcycle and then driving a Volvo like an idiot at the end. That was pretty fun. I was imagining a research lab that also has a costume department, and that was kind of fun as well. Like, can you imagine like you're working like in a serious research lab and you're like, oh yeah, go get the costume, like go to the costume
like Severance
room.
has that morale thing that like they just do like marching band, right? You know what I mean? Like there's things all over the place that just.
Yeah, but I mean specifically, like you'd have to now install a costume room for your wormhole device. You'd be like, okay, because like they just walk up and they're just like taking stuff off a rack. So I was like, okay.
One of the biggest benefits of it, though, is that you're going to the same exact place in the same exact year, right? So
Yeah.
you can really gear up for it, and you're able to send experts. It's not like Bill and Ted, right? Like they're going through all these different time periods, and they just have to be
Yeah.
themselves. So like it's a costume thing, but it's like how many people are going to send at a time? I guess they need all different sizes of chainmail or whatever. And why don't they send them back with swords? Do we know that? Did they say why? Right? Like I know you can't send someone with a gun.
Why not? I would have definitely had a gun. He has a grenade.
Well, yeah, and that ruins a lot of things there. They don't want to leave bad.
I think the gun is the safer thing.
Well,
right?
they don't want to
I'd be
leave tech there and theoretically affect the timeline. They don't know enough, right? Like you leave a gun there and suddenly you've changed a lot of things about the world in theory, right? But a sword, like you can have a go to freaking, I don't know, a blacksmith in Williamsburg, Virginia, and have him make you a sword,
Yeah.
and you can go back there and you can get there with swords, right? Like, and you don't have to wait to kill a guy to get them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
Joe, other notes?
Okay, that was on my
Brian,
notes. No, that was
your
it.
4
I got
pages?
all of them.
I missed this one when it came out, right? And I was watching a lot of movies in this era. Like in high school, I watched a lot of films, and I had no idea this one dropped. So I just wanted to put that.
I've never heard of this before, like this morning, or us talking. You know what I mean? Like
it was on Netflix during the shutdown, I believe, or close to it. So that's when it went like on people's radar.
This was
again.
It crossed our radar because, Joe, one of the 3 people who did the research book that we interviewed, one of them was just like, you need to do timeline. The timeline's crazy. I'm like, okay. Because I think they described it as like
it
Paul
is
Walker
crazy.
back in Middle Ages. I was like, okay, that does seem crazy. So like that is something to do. But like
Yes.
I prioritized it on our end because of that interview.
Like I think we should have covered it. It is an interesting look at like Paul Walker, but at the same time, like this movie is just like it's so mid that it's like just it's okay. They made it.
Well, look, right? Like it's not sci-fi enough. It's not historical enough. It's not action enough. It's not funny enough. Like it's just like you said, mid in every single category that it could be. It doesn't lean into anything properly. It just sort of exists, which is crazy about a movie.
Yeah.
Like, with time travel or wormholing or whatever you want to say.
It was written by Michael Crichton, that is directed by this fucker, and then has Paul Walker in it, and also was like...
You know what this reminded me of? And not in any kind of way, but in terms of, like, tone. Like those, like, Hercules and Xena shows, right? Where, yeah, I know people got into them, and some of them are really cool, right? But, like, if you really watch those episodes, they're mostly like, You know, that's what this sort of is.
Well, we've also talked about that a lot on here. It's like the movies that just feel like you're in green for a while, like they're just like in the forest somewhere, like running through grass, like fighting vague enemies. It's like, okay.
That was a stupid Amazon X-ray fact or like goof. It was like they said they went back to April in France, but it's clearly the middle of the summer. Did you see how much greenery there was? It's like, okay.
Oh, God. Yeah, who cares?
Another one of those is, well, the professor claims that when they turned the camera up, they were in the year 13 whatever in France, but that constellation's only visible in the southern hemisphere. It's like, okay, buddy, like...
Nobody's that much of a star nerd. Jesus,
Neil deGrasse Tyson is.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
He's like, I'm out. Everything else I was okay with. I saw that, and I'm out. I did have this in my notes. This will be my last thing. Of the core Fast and Furious gang, what would be their most out-of-place films? Because this could be Paul Walker's most out-of-place role in film. Miscast, but also just like...
I think Tyrese in anything Shakespearean.
That's a good one.
Are you talking about like a one that they actually did, or one that they would like?
No. Just make one up. Yeah, not one they actually did. Because not all of them have it. Some people stay in their lanes.
So Vin obviously is like, he's born to do like sci-fi stuff and like nerd shit.
Yeah.
I don't know that Vin could do like rom-com lead very well. I can see him doing like courtroom drama kind of. I can see him doing a bunch of different things.
We saw him be a lawyer in that movie with the hair, remember?
Find me guilty.
What's...
He's just like, he, like The Rock, is kind of sexless.
What if... Oh, that's it. Okay, we put Vin in what's the fucking boner movie that Brian made us watch?
Oh, you're talking... Which boner movie, though? Oh, Shame.
Shame, yeah.
Shame.
Yeah, you don't think Vin could do Shame?
No.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, that's not a rom-com. I can see...
I know, but I'm saying...
Vin
I was
playing
saying, like,
a sex-addicted, you know...
You can. Okay.
I think the romance, like the will they, won't they, like it's just not, you know... But also, to be fair, like they're very rarely casting like 50-year-old dudes in rom. They're all like 25 to 30-year-old like ripped
Not
dudes.
true. Not true. Joe and I cover a bunch of these guys on Coastal Grand Bros, right? Like the Richard Gere types, right? Could Vin Diesel play a Richard Gere type role?
Richard Gere's not making new movies though. Like that's if in the '90s.
Okay,
sure.
okay.
Also,
But
here, question for the listeners. There's been discussion. There's been debate. Brian, on his High School Slumber Party feed, released a vault episode of Coastal Grand Bros, and he thinks that should count for the one-on, one-off. And Joe said, well, good, we're just getting this out of the way. Like, he's on this episode now. It clears it out. I still think Brian owes us one because that's not a High School Slumber Party. I didn't say release an episode on the feed. I said release a High School Slumber Party episode. And Brian said, we'll ask the listeners.
I think you're absolutely correct because, like, if Brian started releasing 2 Fast episodes, does that count as a High School Slumber Party episode?
That's a good idea, by the way.
Just fill his feed with just copies of our episodes.
I'm just gonna do
like
that.
I meant like direct copy.
Yeah, just
like you're like I released an episode, and you're like, no, you didn't.
It needs to be a high school.
It's just me
a
on
new
this.
High School Slumber Party episode that has not been heard by people who are not you or Nicole.
Nicole has not heard any High School.
I'm just saying,
Slumber
like, if she's
Party
like walking
episodes.
through the room
I
or
can
something.
understand that.
Fair, like in the background. Look, and I didn't mean to release it in that way. That was just the lab techs at Cage Club Industries had that episode ready. All the episodes of Coastal Grand Bros have been destroyed. When they get an episode, I put it out.
It's just funny that, like, your last 3 episodes on the High School Summer Party feed are Coastal Grand Bros, and then conjunction April Fool's Day thing with Mike, and then Coastal Grand Bros.
Which, by the way, he didn't release the third one for, which is hilarious.
And he also did 2 before 1, but right, like it came out whatever. Anyway,
it wasn't. The joke didn't land. It rarely does.
But like you've had 3 episodes. Like your last actual summer party was Halloween Town 2, released in October on Halloween of 23.
I feel so bad.
You are a father now, though, Brian.
I am. I feel so bad in all seriousness. So I don't want to say so many. I don't want to pretend I'm that popular, but like enough to count on 2 hands of people reached out to me when that episode was released. The Coastal Grand Bros one. We're like, oh man, I was so excited to see the feed go live. What's this? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like they were looking forward to a High School Slumber Party episode, and of course the cage.
And you don't give a shit. So
it's not that I don't give a shit
about their feelings. You were like, fuck their feelings.
I haven't been editing. I didn't even edit this one. The lab techs did it, so it was.
Brian, I appreciate the commitment to the bit, but like there is no lab text. You spent time putting out this.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. You pay these guys, not me. Regardless, and I do apologize for what I said about you guys on that episode. That was a long time ago. We've since patched our relationship. I still don't know why you don't let Joe do Gosling films on that show. He can talk about them in other places.
I can't believe how much airtime you're devoting here to Coastal Grand Bros 2. Just fucking put out a Slumber Party episode.
I'm just explaining to you why there was a Slumber Party episode. That's all.
Shout out to our patrons, Nick Burris, Alex Ellen, and Justin Kleiman, Brian Rodriguez of Making Excuses, Wes Hampton, Jerry Robinson, Dan the Duke, Hayden Renato, DiDonato, Michael McGann, Lane Middleton, Lindsay Lewandowski, Nate Milton of the Kings of Sport, Jason Rainey, Tom Brace, Mike Gallagher, Josh Buckley of Whole Lotta Wolves, Michael Moser, Christian Larson, Tara Newman, Aaron Willows, and Natalie Absolute, Randy Carter, Josh Goularm, Alex Walsh, Jack Haley, and Jessica Collins, a.k.a. Montez. Thank you all for supporting us at the $5 a month level or above. If you want to join them, go to Facebook. No, go to toofast2forever.com and join them from $1 a month. Bonus episodes coming up. Brian, what were you saying?
I was about to plug my new show that...
Okay. Yeah.
No. It's a good one. It's... And Joe, I'm going to have you on. You're going to be one of my first guests.
Joe doesn't do other podcasts.
No, he does. We have podcasts together, multiple podcasts together. And I mean, I know you don't let him. I know it's in his, or you let him out of his cage, right? But I just feel
it's called Cage Club.
I just feel like as a father, there's not enough places where
this is late in the game that Daddy tracked this, but keep going.
Well, I really didn't do it, but
he did. No, Daddy jacked us so early when he was like, "Think about the bloodlines." I was like, "Oh, of course, fuck. This guy's the one who's talking about fucking bloodlines."
No, but in all seriousness, I get that, Brian. Where's a good place to take your kid and drink? Brian, where's a good place to hang out with your child where there's other childless people? And that's breweries, right? So I'm starting a podcast about like the best breweries to take your children. And
To leave them unattended in.
well, look, I mean, you're out drinking. You don't always need to. You want a safe space where a
It
kid
takes
can
a
run around.
village.
It takes a
It
village.
takes a
exactly.
village.
And I feel like the single drinkers there, when they see a beautiful
Crowd
child
source.
running around, right? They're like, "Oh, I
They
need
get
to
so
have
excited.
I want to have kids. I can't believe I'm devoting my life to podcasts and drugs and all evil, right?
This feels targeted now.
No. It's not about you.
Do you guys want to watch the trailer for this movie so we can stop this episode?
Yes, I do.
Wow. Okay, fine.
We're going to watch Timeline 2003 official trailer
Look here.
FHD posted by HD Retro Trailers 3 years ago.
Who posts this stuff? Who's like, yeah, I'm gonna post a fucking trailer.
HD Retro Trailers, man. They have 136,000 subscribers. They can't monetize this. Like, I don't know.
You're talking. There's 3 dudes here that have podcasts about Fast and Furious and high school movies. Who the fuck posts this shit? Like, that's what every episode, every comment on every one of our episodes should be like, why the hell did you post this shit?
I mean, that's pretty accurate at this point.
All right. Are you guys ready to watch this trailer?
Whenever you are, bud.
3, 2, 1, play.
Let's be careful. Who's going in first?
5 young archaeologists.
Young?
You know, youngish.
Oh,
I mean, I'm guessing the average age of an archaeologist is like in the 50s. So, like,
Help me.
Ross disagrees.
Fair.
From the best-selling thriller by Michael.
Would you have that threesome?
Your father wrote that, but he wrote it 600 years ago.
Oh my god. Of course I carbon dated it.
Is in the 14th century. We need you to help us get him back.
A journey
This
back in
dork.
time.
DNA streams are locked in.
What about weapons?
Nothing modern goes back.
What the hell are we doing? We're getting it
Uh-oh.
for a lifetime.
Think of it as the ultimate field trip.
He's so excited to go LARP. Gerard Butler's so excited to go LARP.
I did like that it was painful to travel in time. Too many movies are just like, my body's in a different place, right? Like, I think it was cool that...
No, it needs to be painful.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's cool that it hurts.
I will say this trailer makes the movie look better than it is.
Cohesive. More cohesive than it is.
Trebuchet.
The ultimate battle.
I know that Mark Hoffmeyer liked the Trebuchet work in this, so shout out to that and to him.
Yeah, that's cool.
How many movies based in medieval times have you covered on this podcast?
We did the Vin Diesel.
More than you'd think, to be honest.
No, we did In the Name of the King.
Dungeons
but
and-
Dungeons and Dragons was the
Dungeons
Statham
and Dragons.
movie.
I think Zardos kind of feels close. Not Zardos, the other one, the Keep.
The Keep. Well, yeah, that's
Keep is-
World War II, but yes, it feels oldie because it's in a keep.
Yeah, I guess I'm way off, but it feels like that.
I'm sure there's a bunch. I can look through it.
Who was this movie? Who was this movie for? We didn't ask that. What was the intended audience of this film?
I used to ask
When
that
they were like,
question.
"We're making this."
I
What?
used to ask that question a lot. Go ahead.
So who did answer?
But I think that's the problem, right? They didn't lean into the sci-fi enough, like I said. They didn't lean to the action enough. They didn't lean to the teen drama enough. Like, they're...
Not the medieval enough
No.
for it to be like, like all these old medieval-y guys that like LARPing or like, this is it.
No, because apparently, like, in all the trivia, it's not accurate, right? So...
Yeah, so they're gonna hate it. So it's like you're just gonna piss off one part of your audience that would be like a target demo.
Yeah,
right.
so there's no target demo for this. The target demo is studio heads who are like, "Oh, Michael Crichton novel? Yeah, let's go, let's do this, let's greenlight it, and it's definitely gonna make money." Who was just in a hot movie? Oh, Paul Walker, cool, put him in.
Yeah, In the Name of the King and Dungeon Siege Tale is one. We have not done a ton of them because, like, for the most part, I'm going to say a mean thing. Acting is not the strong suit of many of the Fast and Furious actors, and so, like, to do a thing that's like set in a different time period is sort of difficult.
Why are you talking about Gal like this all of a sudden?
Boy, Gal especially. Can you imagine Gal? Like, easy to put Gal fish out of water, just like in anything that's not an action movie, or where she's not in like in what's the one, Keeping Up with the Joneses or whatever, where she's like in the underwear with Isla Fisher. Just like, okay, like that's like.
I just like that the internet hates Gal. The internet thinks Gal is like the worst actress. of
Well,
all
there's
time.
that. Yes.
Like I see her just
there's
getting
there's
roasted.
political reasons too.
Well, yeah, she's also
No. But they say she's like bad at acting. Like I specifically see like she is a
She's
terrible
not great,
actress.
but also
Like this is you need to watch more movies. So I've seen a lot worse actresses,
Like,
and she's at least pretty, right?
well, that's all that matters, right?
yeah,
Okay.
to me,
distracts from a lot.
But
It does.
Joe, when you have a daughter, you'll appreciate women a bit more. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think you have to appreciate women to
Joe's
get a
been
daughter.
appreciating women for a long time now.
But only in one conference, the ACC, and that's his problem. He needs to go to the other conferences. He needs to get some mid-major women. Trust me.
I need SEC. I need an SEC girlfriend.
No, but you need a mid-major
I get
woman.
it.
You need like a Sunbelt woman.
The Lone Wolf and Cub
I think an
movies are
SEC
old.
girlfriend. Those are old. Yeah, that's actually probably close time
Yeah,
wise.
like those were set in the
Closer.
1600s, 1700s.
I don't remember, but you're right. That's close.
But yeah, like we've not done a ton. We've done things that are like reminiscent of Fast and Furious or whatever in other, as pit stops that aren't. But yeah, Arrival of a Train at La Ciotat, that's set in the 1800s.
I just don't think you have to, though. Like, I don't think these movies need to be high acting movies, right? I think you can have a medieval B movie.
Yeah, and it can be fun.
You talking about like Jerry Seinfeld's B movie?
No, that's one of your favorites. Doesn't the bee fall in love with the
I love
woman in that movie?
Unfrosted. Don't forget about that one. All right, Letterboxd game. For reference sake, Mad Max for your... I feel like, Joe, we have not done this in forever, and I don't know why it feels like we've not done this game in forever.
No, we've did one not too long ago. I don't feel it.
Mad Max Fury Road, 2.5 million. We've got Timeline, 2003, directed by Richard Donner, starring Paul Walker, Francis O'Connor, Gerard Butler, Billy Connolly, David Thewlis, Anna Friel. Anna Friel's Lady Claire. Anna Friel's also like the star of some TV shows. Neil McDonough, Matt Craven, Ethan Embry, Michael Sheen. Just trying to go through all the actors. How many people have seen Timeline?
Do you want me to go first or second, Brian?
Go first.
I say 22,000.
I'll say 7,000.
You're both too low.
Really?
My first real guess was 31,000.
What was your first guess?
No, he guessed 22, and then he just guessed 31.
27,000.
Basically, right in between those two numbers, and if you had added your first two together, 29,690, 29,690. Average rating of a 2.6.
Oh.
Most common a 3, then a 2, then a 2.5. Oh, yes. Josh Gularm, patron of the show, gave this movie 5 stars and said, Hot Tub Fax Machine, Paul and Jar's Faxland Adventure. Billy Connolly plays Paul Walker's dad in this film, and it's brilliant. 5 stars. Aaron, who gives everything 3 stars, gave this 2. Mark Hoffmeyer gave it 2.5.
Oh yeah, that's a scathing review by Aaron. Yeah,
I click on a movie that I've never heard of. I'm just like, oh, what's this movie? And like Aaron's giving it 3 stars. Like it's just like, how have you seen this movie? But of course, you give it 3 stars. Okay, how many out of those 30,000 people have this in their top 4 favorite films of all time?
And anyone?
You can guess. Zero.
I was going to start with 1.
I'm going to say 0.
You're both too low.
3.
10.
You're both too low. One more guess.
30.
12.
29 people have
I
this in
was
their
close.
top
I was
4.
close.
It's exactly spot on. It's the 0.1% that we do.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
What I will tell you is that everyone, I clicked on like 5 or 6 profiles, everyone who reviewed this, you could guess any of these 4 movies in any of these profiles. Like these are people who love Timeline only love movies that you've heard of.
Okay, perfect. I can see that.
So
yeah.
we're going to do 2 separate ones because I think like I can give you like 1 clue for each of these and then they can get it based on...
We could just run.
So
We could
first
just
up is
run it
Fiona,
twice. Okay.
who says, I love this movie, and then in bold, I love this movie. 5
Oh,
stars.
Jesus Christ.
The
So
Matrix.
Fiona's number 1 favorite film of all time is Timeline. 2, 3, and 4. So number 3 just won Best Picture.
Back to the
No,
Future.
number 3 just won Best Picture.
Okay,
Is
Anora. Sure.
Number 2 is a high school slumber party all-star film directed by a Letterboxd top 4 all-star director. And a movie that I think you both probably love.
Cruel Intentions.
No, I have no idea who directed Cruel Intentions.
Okay, I don't either. I don't do good with that one, so that's why I guess Cruel Intentions.
A huge,
Sorry.
very famous high school movie
Clueless.
Uh,
Mean Girls.
Almost Famous.
directed by a Letterboxd top 4 all-star.
Who the hell are Letterboxd top 4 All-Stars?
Like
Spielberg? Like people like that, you're saying?
No, you gotta think more film nerdy.
It's like David Lynch is a big one.
He did do a high
What's
school
the
movie that
one?
Brian and I talked about, but it's not
True,
it.
true.
It's not that. It
Lady
came out in the
Bird.
90s.
No.
Director is still making movies. He actually just announced a new movie, or a new trailer for his newest movie came out.
Oh, Rushmore.
Wes Anderson.
Rushmore.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
And then number 4 is a movie that podcast host on the network, Dan Colon, watches every New Year's Eve.
When Harry Met Sally.
Nice.
Then we're going to go to Logan Farron's
No.
such an underrated movie. 95 out of 100 for me. Such great characters and such a unique story. 5 stars.
Okay, look, it's not
Okay.
it's not that bad. I don't think it's a 1-star film. What'd you give it, Joey?
2.5.
Okay,
Two and a
yeah.
half seems fair. 2.5 seems
Right
fair.
in the middle, fair. We don't appreciate 2.5s enough, and we should. Okay, so we have to guess these or no?
Number one, Joe, you've been practicing this for a while. It's a movie that you've been trying to memorize for this game.
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes. I said this the other day as I was walking across the bridge going to the stockroom for work. I said, like, something Into the Spider-Verse, a Marvel movie that's not in the MCU that is animated. And they're like, why did you say it like that? Like, to like one of the students, I was like, this is a fucking movie I can never remember when we play this game, and I'm not getting cooked again on this fucking movie.
Number 4 is Island Addington's favorite movie of all time.
Oh God.
Wait, is it? No, I don't know. What is her favorite
Sorry,
movie?
Hope.
No,
I know,
Brian,
I know,
Brian,
I know
say
her
it.
favorite high school movie of all time is Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Well, I think that's her favorite movie. Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I didn't know if there was.
And then number 2, again, we're through almost both lists with very little issue, no sweat broken. Number 2, It's Not Your Fault.
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
Yeah, those are some of the biggest movies of all time.
But most of the movies you
both
mentioned are really good movies.
I'm
Right.
not saying they're not. I'm just saying people who love Timeline also love very popular
Also
movies.
discovered movies 3 years ago. is what you're trying to
But
say.
like, okay, there are people who like B movies, like sci-fi movies, B movies, stuff like that. So I thought that would be more of what we're talking about here.
Those would have been fucking possible, dude. If we would have gotten to stuck into a sci-fi nerd's favorite, like that would
I
have
could
been
make this
awful.
game
I
hard.
would never have
The
done
game is
that.
not meant to be hard.
Yeah.
I'm looking for things that make it easy,
Yeah.
and it's still really hard usually.
Like Star Trek 17 fucking whatever. You're like, oh fuck.
That's always Mike's guess for something. He's like, Star Trek, I don't know which one. The Search for Spock? Like, that's one of his top guesses.
That's 3.
That's 3. Oh, duh.
Brian, thank you, I guess, for being here.
Wow. Wow.
What would you like to plug?
Look, I plugged my brewery show.
Oh, the Joe tells you whether or not he'd smash or pass a baseball mom.
I like that show. And you guys,
My friend sent me that video today, and I was telling them about you being like, Joe, do this. This should be the podcast. See, a peek behind the chat. Oh,
if you, is this the Hernan Reyes level? What's the level that gets you?
Yeah, the Hernan Reyes level at $50 a month gets you access to our Facebook chat, which we would move to Discord so you can join in the Discord and keep an eye on there.
Exactly. And this chat, it is a special, special chat. So that's what I'm going to plug. Also plug High School Slumber Party. It'll be back at some point. When the
Yeah.
when the Cage Club techs need to figure out where all my lost episodes are once they get it from the control room. Which, I thought that was a great question. Was it Jason Rainey's question? Someone's question. Yeah, like where is the wine cellar in relation to the control room at Cage Club HQ? And I'm like, that is a very good question.
I will also say that Jason created a new emoji for the Discord. It says "shit, it's Brian" in the Fast and Furious font, so that's in there now. If you do the colon
That's
Brian colon, it comes up. So shout out to Jason for that.
thank you, Jason.
Brian, you might be back for one more episode. It's gonna be it would be behind the paywall. I
need to
think
be
you'll
back
be on.
behind the paywall.
I'm pretty sure you'll be on, but just letting you know, one more episode this lap, and then not till next lap, not till after the wedding.
Not till next
Yes.
lap. Not till after the wedding.
I don't think that we could get away with that. I don't think that Brian will.
He's
let
been on
that
like 4
happen.
episodes this lap already. We need to break
I
free
know.
of
Yeah,
this.
but that's
I know.
okay. Look, next lap is good. I really like my pick. I have a stealth pick that I might buy into as well.
The next lap, the wedding lap.
Oh, the wedding lap? I thought we had a lap. I didn't know there was a wedding lap.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Why didn't we actually do that? That's really funny. That would have been a huge jinx. Imagine that we'd had to do like the divorce lap.
Oh,
So like, that'd be rough.
I've
not wishing. I'm just saying, like, if we set a precedent,
still
you
one
have
of
to
the
put the end
funniest
on it
things
too.
that Joe ever said on here was in lap 1 when I was like, "Yeah, I got a girlfriend," and then when we broke up, Joe was like, "Wow, she didn't even make a whole lap." It's just like, yeah, that's pretty savage.
It came out. I didn't even mean it mean. It was just
No, it was funny.
Kyle and I
really
have
funny.
pitched that show, like Any wedding movies, fair game, but from the bachelor party through honeymoon, there's so many good ones. Maybe that'll have to be a spinoff. Who wants to host it with me? As long as you edit, I'm down. I'm down.
Oh, so you're looking for Joe rules? Like that's hard to come by.
If I could do it all over again, I would have the Joe 2 contract. Okay, that's the best contract in the game. You just sit in your pink room with your Lysol, talk, and someone else does the back end.
Yep,
Lysol's not a sponsor. You need to just say germ disinfecting.
Wipes. Disinfectant wipes.
Disinfecting wipes.
So our next episode is, of course, a Life in the Fastland Tokyo Drift minute 12. We might get to Tokyo, or else we're going to be on the plane, perhaps, in the next minute. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe the escalator.
Also, at least twice since we recorded the last episode, I've opened up Instagram, and the top thing is a Vin post. So we got more of Instagram to run. We've also got someone following us on Twitter who is going to screenshot every Vin post because Vin edits them. So this person who follows us on Twitter is going to do us a favor because the Who Loves You Baby was a much longer post. The Kojak post was a much longer post.
Appreciate you for the record keeping.
All of the patrons. The next bonus episode is Dance With Me, Jason Rainey's pick of Dance With Me, which is coming out soon. Oh, there was chatter about that in the Discord, but I guess we talked about Dance With Me when we talked about the other one that we recorded we did Fair is Fair, right? So Jason was talking about how it seemed relieved that we liked his movie, but we didn't talk about that, but we sort of teased the thing and blah, 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 whatever. So, okay, that makes sense in my brain. So Timeline is out now, Fastlane, next one, and then Dance With Me is the patron bonus episode. The next movie we're doing, of course, is Furious 7, the Paul Walker farewell vehicle. But Brian, thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you, Brian.
And for all things Too Fast, Too Forever, go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/TooFastTooForever, or @TooFastTooForever on all of the socials. Email us, family@cageclub.me, and check out our Patreon page at TooFastTooForever.com and our store, Pickinsless, at cageclub.me/shop. And come back next week for Life in the Fast and get your emails in, family@cageclub.me. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe 2.
And I'm Brian Rodriguez.
And we will tell you all about it
when we see you again.